Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining me for another Tea Time with Chelten. Today I'm going to be talking about the Collingwood Arts Center. At the Collingwood Arts Center, we were there last year, just about the beginning of fall 2017. While we were there, we got to meet a lot of incredible people, other paranormal investigators we got to meet. We got to meet the Booths, Rachel and Christopher St. Booth. They were really wonderful people. Got to look at a lot of their movies, their books, listen to their locations that they've been on. We got to see a lot of their amazing photos that they do also, with usually Rachel as the model. Gorgeous, wonderful people. While we were there, we met a lot of fans. We made a lot of friends. That was the wonderful part of that place, Collingwood Arts Center. The building is beautiful. It was an old nunnery, very old building, a lot of history there. We were touring through there, walking through. Christopher Tillman was showing us all the different floors, what happened on the floors throughout history. And then we went to the basement. When we walked through the basement, it was a totally different feel there, number one. It was, of course, dark because it was a basement, but it felt darker. It felt very ominous. It felt very strange. At one point, Christopher Tillman, myself, and Kat Chelten went outside while the rest of the team stayed in the basement. We were talking to Christopher St. Booth and his wife Rachel outside on the steps. Something seemed a bit off, and then we got a phone call. And the phone call was basically telling us that one of our investigators was attacked in the basement. So we quickly grab all our stuff, and attacked by something spiritual, something unseen. We grab all our stuff and we start racing down to the basement. Christopher got there before I did. Once we got down there, I crossed paths with another team who apparently had their team member just about 30 minutes before our team was attacked. Their team member was attacked by something. Something was thrown on his head, like a board or something, if I remember right. So when I'm walking into this area, it was even darker than it was before, possibly because I knew something was going on. But I don't think so. I don't think it was just that reason. I was picking up on that before we were even down there because of this reason. So I'm walking into this area called the Dead Room, and our team member is visibly shaken, crying. Our camera guy is visibly shaken, just kind of beside himself, and she's just kind of freaking out, understandably. There was something on her neck that was burning, and you could see it was burning. And it happened to be right in the spot where she had a religious item on her neck, a necklace. So I go into this dead room, and I tell her to leave the dead room and stand next to Christopher Tillman. And I'm feeling the area around, and as I said before, you can tell the difference between negatives and demonics, and it's a different feel, it's a different taste, it's a different experience altogether. And in my opinion, and of course my opinion only, this was a demonic, and I had believed it was more than one. So I felt it in the dead room, and then I felt it kind of walk past me, and immediately in my head I said to myself it was going to our female investigator, the one that was attacked. And as soon as they started walking out toward her, saying it's going towards her, we had the camera on her. You could see fingerprint marks going on her neck at that point, right below her ear, a very, very large hand type of thing. And she all of a sudden couldn't breathe, and she collapsed to the ground, just hysterically crying. It was a very scary moment. I ended up taking some holy water and immediately blessing her, telling it to get off of her, leave her alone. It did end up leaving her alone as soon as I said a prayer on her and put the holy water on her. And at that point, another investigator and myself said, everybody out, immediately, get out, take her outside. So I rushed her outside with some of the others, made sure she got outside, and then I went running back downstairs in the basement. And I did that because, incredibly, against my wishes and my advice, some people stayed down there trying to track it down with no training, no way to know how to battle this, how to fight it, how to get it to leave you alone, how to get it to run away from you. So I went back down there, and as I was running down there, they were still just kind of trying to figure out where it was. So I cleared my thoughts, and I said a prayer, and I walked over to where I felt it. And I have the camera guy walking behind me, and I said, it's going in this direction, and I'm following this particular direction. And I think it was against the wall where I was walking. I was walking straight against the wall, and I felt it stop because I went a little bit further, and I felt it now behind me, and I said, wait a second. It turned, it went this way. And as soon as I said that, on the video audio, you can hear it growl. You can hear it upset that I figured out where it was going. So I turn around and I follow it that way. At that point, I'm walking through this area, approaching a bunch of chairs, and I'm saying, okay, it's over here, it's coming this direction. And you can hear and see this thing pushing chairs out of its way, just moving them as it's kind of trying to get away from me, trying to hurry up and leave that area. At one point, I realized that it wasn't alone. It wasn't just this one. I felt like there were two before, but then I had seen the other one. The other one was about waist high, dark, strange. I couldn't even explain what it looked like. It was strange. It was waist high, dark, sinister. And I saw it in a doorway, moving. So then I announced to the team that was with me at the time and the camera guy, okay, there's two of them. So I'm still trying to track it down, both of them. They're going in separate directions, kind of making us go in circles, really messing with us, messing with our heads. I kept trying to call the team to kind of stick around where I was so I could keep track of where everybody was. And then I had this thought in my head, and I immediately said, Christopher Tillman, Chris, it's over. It's messing with you. Wherever you are, get out from that location. Apparently, he went into a room and asked it something like, do you want to come out and play, or something like that, provoking it to come out. And it was excited to. So after a little bit more of me trying to track it down and figure out what it was doing, what it was wanting, it was very apparent that it was trying to separate us into different locations and get us alone. And I finally told the team, no, okay, that's it. Enough footage. We need to get out of here. It's not a good entity. It's not even a negative entity. These are two demonics, and we need to leave this area. I was also texting back and forth with the females that were in our team, trying to find out if the one that was attacked was okay. So throughout this time I was texting, and at one point I wasn't getting an answer, so that was concerning me too. So I told everybody, okay, let's go check on everybody and let's get out of this location. There's no need for us to be in here. So we did leave and went upstairs and checked on her, and we ended up taking a lot of photos of her neck. Grizz was with us upstairs talking to her about her experience, and he compared, and he's a big guy, real big guy, and he compared his handprint to the handprint that was on her, and the handprint that was on her was bigger than his hand. It was just wrapped around her neck. It was a large handprint. It was very apparent, and she was terrified. And so was one of our cameramen at the time. I think this experience had affected them for a very long time. I think it had a very negative effect on most of our team for a very long time, possibly to this day. I know if I didn't have the experience that I had with demonics and exorcisms and such, I believe that I probably would have been just as terrified, and probably it would have scarred me for the rest of my life. So we don't have contact with those members anymore. We went our separate ways, but I'm pretty sure they remember that day very well. I'm pretty sure that it may still affect them. I don't know. I don't have contact with them, but as I said, had it been me and not having the experience that I had and not having the faith in God that I have, it probably would have, it may have gotten me to quit what I was doing altogether. So that is our experience at the Collingwood Arts Center last year, 2017. And my dog is barking at, I think, the garbage man. Thank you for joining me. Please like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more stories and tips and tricks. Happy hauntings, guys, and we love you, phantoms.